We've had our Rivian R1S for almost 2 years. We are really excited to take it on its longest road trip, 1,000 miles to southern Alabama. Let's test out the new software updates and see if the Tesla charging membership is worth the subscription. It's time for our next road trip.
Tomorrow morning, we leave out to go to Alabama.
This is going to be another Rivian adventure. Last time we had a few issues.
Here watching YouTube, and all of a sudden we have now this kind of error saying unplug and try again.
Just put it in reverse, and it came up and has a system fault. So you can see down here, it's internal mode, and there's a battery fault.
We just need to get on 95 South, and I don't know why Rivian really wants to take us north to then go south.
And so we're really excited to see how it will be this time.
So our trip's about 1,000 miles, but with the 12 updates that Rivian has done since January, we went to Rhode Island, we get to experience a different Rivian than what we did before.
So some of the things that we're going to be looking for on this trip is how is the navigation? Since the last road trip, Rivian has switched to Google navigation. The other thing we're going to be looking at is charging. Lessons learned. We purchased the Tesla.
It's Supercharger membership, so it's $15 a month. When we use Tesla chargers, we get a discounted price for the length we have this. And it saves like 20 cents a kilowatt hour, which is huge. The Rivian is a massive battery and we're driving a long way, so we'll definitely see some cost savings.
The other change is going to be our dog's going to be with us, so we're going to see how does that go.
Yeah, and maybe with the charging stops, it works out great because he gets to walk around. It breaks up the trip for him too.
What else are we looking for? Right now, our plan is stop in Chattanooga, Tennessee. That should take 10 hours.
It's like half to 10 hours. Definitely not, it's more than halfway. What we're looking for is how long from what you like Google map it to actually how long it takes to get there, when you add in the charging times.
And then the next day we'll do the rest of the way, which right now I think we were saying it's going to be like 5 or 6 hours.
One good thing about the Rivian software is I put in my destination and it maps me to the next charger that I would need to charge at, tells me how long I need to charge for. And hopefully that becomes more accurate for how long it'll take to get there and how long I need to charge.
The next morning, we got packed up and ready to go. After a quick odometer trip reset, we began mapping our route through Rivian's navigation.
This is new with this latest update where you can choose your route.
We set our first stop and began our journey.
We were driving and John realized something wasn't quite right.
It said we were going to a Flying J, and I'm like, oh, it's a gas station, but it didn't say Tesla. And I got curious, so I checked the settings, and this is taking me to Electrify America, but I went into the actual settings and found out there is an avoid sites that need an adapter. I have an adapter. I'll turn that off, and then make sure you always apply. And now it is routing me to actually Tesla chargers, which is what I want. So make sure the settings are correct to get what you want.
After that little blip, we were all set and on our way to our first stop in Lexington, Virginia. We're getting close to where we're going to be charging, and so now on our screen it shows that we are getting prepared for fast charging. One thing we were interested in seeing in this trip is how reliable is the navigation at showing arrival time and battery percentage. Every stop was pretty consistent with an early arrival and about 20 miles less, but I think that could be attributed to driving habits. Since we were a little ahead of schedule, we stopped at a really cute shop and got some coffee and pastries and then headed over to our charging stop.
So first time, and I need to go to the hamburger, charge your EV, and then it should give me my actual location, lets me know that I'm here, charge here, and then I was at 3B, so scroll to 3B, collect that, start charging, and then I should be able to go. Oh, there it goes. So it's actually telling us what percentage we should charge to. Something I just noticed is now it says resume trip in 25 minutes. So I'm guessing that is, as the charging goes up, the time goes down, which is exactly what I wanted before, is to actually tell me what I needed to do. And so in 24 minutes, I can leave. So it gives me everything I need.
24 minutes was a perfect amount of time for Griffin to take a walk and for us to all fuel up for the upcoming trip.
The total fees, so we've saved some money on that, and how long it took, and how much energy we got.
So our first charging session cost $28 and took 27 minutes to charge. And now heading out to our next charger, which is showing will be in 2 hours and 5 minutes. We continue to our next stop in Atkins, Virginia, where things didn't go quite as planned. We pulled up, plugged in like normal, and expected the Tesla membership to kick in, but it didn't. We tried a couple times, double checked everything, but still no luck. At that point, we honestly thought it was just a one time glitch. Maybe it was that specific charger or just bad timing, so we didn't really think much of it and kept going. So we just got charged through the Rivian app like we typically would. After a quick walk and a chat with other EV owners, our charging session ended. And I was quite surprised to see that the Rivian cost per kilowatt hour was exactly the same as the Tesla membership. On to the next stop.
And continue.
By this time, we started seeing a trend that Rivian navigation would have us stop about every 2.5 hours for about 30 minutes. When we got to our next stop in Knoxville, the Tesla membership again did not work, so we charged through Rivian. I do want to take a moment to point out one really cool thing. The Rivian Energy tab gives you a lot of really good information while you charge.
And it gives you different things like what my final set to, which is 100, but I really only need to get to 61%, which is in 5 minutes. Also see it as a graph. You can see the charging speed flies up and then slowly starting to come down the higher we get. So the better the charging curve, which is that, the better amount of energy you'll get in a faster time.
Even Gryffin was learning about charging. For this third charging session, we did see an increase in the cost per kilowatt hour. So this is where the Tesla membership may have reduced the price. At this point, we had started experiencing traffic. The Google navigation came in handy to see what was around the charging stop. When we spotted a brewery with food, we decided it would be a good opportunity for us all to take an extended break before the last leg of our trip today, which was an hour and a half to Chattanooga, Tennessee. We made it to our dog-friendly hotel, the Hotel Chalet, in the Chattanooga Choo-Choo area. This hotel was really cute and even had sleeper car trains that you could book, but unfortunately it did not have charging stations. This is where we began noticing a decline in charging availability. We had to drive about 20 minutes in the opposite direction to get to a charging station. We decided to charge one more time tonight. We could have charged in the morning, but we
We get to sleep in.
yeah, so then we'll have a full tank.
Yeah, full tank when we get up and go. And
Luckily, the Tesla membership worked, so we were able to get the discounted charging rate.
I plugged in and it's initializing. Then it starts to give me the stats on the progress, the fees, and how much rate I'm getting and everything. So I know that it's working through the Tesla app, so I'm getting the membership discount.
4 Teslas there, and 1 over here, and then us. And every car has a dog. Our last charge of the day ended up being our lowest cost per kilowatt hour at 34 cents. The next morning, with a full charge, we started the second half of our trip to Alabama. Back on the road again this morning. According to Rivian mapping, we have 2 charging stops. Right now it's 9 o'clock. We should get there by 3 o'clock-ish.
But we're changing time zones, and I'm just not sure which time zone it needs to involve.
It would take about 2 hours to get to our first charging stop of the day just outside of Birmingham, Alabama. From the map, there appeared to be lots of options around for us to grab some breakfast while we charged.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff around here. It's just we're in the morning, so there's restaurants, but they are not open yet.
John just got out to investigate, and there's no walkway to get across the street, so
It's like a busy 2-lane highway, where there's a bunch of shops around, so there's no crosswalks. It's meant for you to be driving. The chargers are V4 chargers, so they're nicer, faster, and have longer cables to help charge non-Tesla EVs. So we're there for 32 minutes, so about $30 and almost 90 kilowatts, which it's a lot of energy.
for our 5th charging session of the trip, the cost per kilowatt was the lowest, which was great because we charged the battery more than any other stop, so we pulled more kilowatts. And the Tesla membership worked this time. Our next and final stop would be 2.5 hours away in Greenville, Alabama. We were really hoping to end our last charge on a good note with the Tesla membership, but again, it did not work.
We are at our last charging stop before we get to where we're going. So I initialized the charging. It's not picking it up. So now I'm actually paying the full price because For some reason, when I choose the charger, it says to unplug. I plug into my car. I actually canceled it, then started again, and it did the same thing. So, but it's something you should be aware of, that even with the membership, you might not always be getting the correct price because it might not have connected to the Tesla part of it.
So our last charge ended up being the most expensive charge of the trip, despite being one of the lowest energy amounts pulled. As we wrap up this trip, let's talk about how Rivian did with some of the items that we mentioned at the beginning of the video. Number 1, navigation. The navigation has dramatically improved since our last trip. We had no weird directions, and the arrival times were pretty accurate. You can see a big improvement from the software updates, not only with the navigation, but also with the adaptive cruise control. And while the Gen 1 Rivian still is not completely hands-free, you only have to keep a thumb on the steering wheel for it to follow the pre-mapped roads. Number 2, the Tesla membership. The membership only worked for 3 out of our 6 stops. We still have no idea why, and we couldn't even find any information on how to report this issue. If the membership would have worked the way it was supposed to, we should have seen a $39 savings. But in reality, we only saw a $22 savings. The good news is that the savings was still enough to cover the monthly subscription, and we continued to get more savings on the return trip home. Number 3, doggy comfort. I think it's pretty safe to say that Gryffin found the ride quite comfortable, and he approved of the stops every couple of hours. We do love that Rivian has a pet mode, so we can feel comfortable leaving him alone in the car for a few minutes if we need to run inside and get some food or go to the restroom. And number 4, overall timing. Google Maps said it would take 8 to 10 hours to get to Chattanooga depending on traffic conditions. It took us exactly 11 hours, including our charging stops and traffic when we hit Knoxville. On day 2, we made great timing, and even with our charging stops, we were not too far off from Google Maps. We are wrapping up our road trip. We just got off of our exit in southern Alabama, and we're going to be getting to our destination with 30% battery left, and that's 101 miles. So overall, a pretty uneventful trip.
Which is what you want.
John even said he was not even that stressed driving, so
Cruise control helps.
yeah. So that's going to wrap up this trip. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for watching.